don't know if you know, your XYZ policy went to a pre-cancel state. Were you aware? Over half the time, I had no idea. And now it's on your calendar. You call them, you fix it. You do 4 of those a month, dude, your persistency is going to sky high.
Right.
And if most agents, if you're like a decent producing agent, increase your retention 10 points, dude, that's like 40, 50 grand a year.
Right.
Just did what you keep. It's a big deal.
What's up, dude?
Hey.
How's it going?
Dude, it's going great, man.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun today, Josh.
This has been a great time.
Yeah.
You guys are great people. You know what I mean? I'll fight anybody that says any otherwise.
I love it, dude. I love it. We're talking about I wouldn't say fun stuff. Maybe it's fun, but some important stuff, right? You've been selling insurance with us now 3 and a half years. Is it safe to say quality of business is one of the most important aspects of this business?
Oh, yeah. It's not what you make, it's what you keep.
Absolutely. Because you can be the greatest salesman in the world. You can get everyone to sign up, but if they don't keep it, I used to say this to my clients all the time, if I put you in something that doesn't fit your needs and your budget, 2 things happen. You cancel.
Yep.
You no longer have life insurance, and I no longer got paid.
That's it.
Both those things are not good, right? Because now I need to make money, and my job is to cover you, and now you're back to square one with no life insurance. That's right. Where you were before I came out here.
Yeah, you just waste all that time.
Absolutely. And the reason why we're talking about this with you, Josh, is you've lived both worlds, right? I have too, but that was many moons ago. Nobody cares. You're doing it right now.
Yeah.
When you started with us, safe to say your quality of business wasn't the best?
Yeah. My first 12 months, the lowest with any carrier was 59.
59.
59.
And the carriers don't like that.
No, they don't.
No. Why was it 59?
A couple things, right? I was getting, at the time we were in home, I was getting leads in Metro Atlanta. Okay. So like we're going to some like rough places, like I've said on, mats in the street.
Yeah.
I've been in the woods, like some crazy places where, sold policies and you leave like I was in a house one time and this husband and wife's crying because he just had a heart attack and he really wants to get coverage and they're counting their change to make their couch payment.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, I got Cash App. You're like, yeah, that's not going to stick.
Right. And we want to help everyone.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunately, carriers have rules. You got a bank account, this whole deal.
It is what it is. It's twofold. And the other thing is like, and I would encourage anybody, like, get this out of your vocabulary. Let's just see if we can get you approved today. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of out like, oh, do I commit to anything? Oh no, we just gotta see if we can get you approved.
Right.
Right. It's like if you can take away those 2 things, like, quality client, don't use Cash App, which like some carriers don't even accept that. Thank goodness that protect us from ourselves. And then when you make a sale, like make sure it's like you're not just getting people to say yes, you're actually making a sale.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Like you if you're gonna say no, I want you to say no in the house, not after your policy's been approved, after your coverage is enforced, after commission's been paid, and then you say no.
Yeah.
You don't want that. And I love that you brought that up, we'll just see if you get approved. Because I think that most agents, especially, like I didn't come from a sales background. So I was so not afraid to get the no, but I didn't want to know. Like I was broke. I needed to make money. I wanted to help these people. And I did that for a period of time. Let's just see if you get approved. What happens when you do that too much?
Well, yeah. Like soon as it happens, they're like, oh, I didn't want it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I ain't paying for it.
Right.
I didn't agree. Oh, I didn't agree to anything.
Yep.
It's like,
you said we were just getting approved. And you're like, yeah, I did say that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like I heard Sean say in a video one time, he's like, you'll sit on their couch, they'll be your best friend, and they will treat you like you're the worst person in the world. And that's so true. You know what I mean? So like, and that, now in telesales, like things like, crank wheel, Zoom, whatever.
Yeah.
Like somebody goes, hey, I get paid on Friday. Can we take it out then? It's like, I'm going to show you, like, don't listen to anything I say. Like see it in black and white. Does that look good? You see that, right? Like you have to do that because if it's just based on what he said, she said, that gets ugly real quick.
Yeah. And for those of you that are not with us, there's a lot of people watch these and they haven't joined us or thinking about it. Like the way insurance works, when you're getting paid on advance, it's a loan.
Yeah.
It's not your money. Mm-hmm. The client makes one payment and the carrier advances you a commission, whatever your commission rate is, based on what that policy costs for the year.
Yeah.
So client pays $83, policy costs $1,000 for the year. They're going to advance, if you're at 100% comp, $750 up front.
That's it.
And then if you just did I want to, just see if you get approved, that cancels. Well, your client gets the $83 back, but now you owe whatever carrier, $750.
Carrier roulette.
Yeah. And then you go, well, then what happens? Well, then you write another policy and you don't get paid on it because the carrier keeps that to recoup their money. It's how the business works. It's a loan. It's almost like if we could condition new agents that, yes, it's commission, but it's a loan.
Yeah.
That your client needs to pay back in order for you to keep your money and them to keep their policy. And if you have too many of these that cancel, the carriers will not allow you to sell their business anymore.
Yeah, I get it. Like people, when they start, they think they're a salesperson. It's like, no, you're a business person.
Right.
There is a P&L, there's a back end. You got to pay attention to stuff. And it can be overwhelming. I get that, but like that's the business. You got to figure it out.
Correct.
You got to know that stuff.
Yeah. So the worst it was 59%.
Yep.
Was that 6 months or 12?
That was 12.
12. Wow.
Yeah.
59 at 12. Carriers want you to be at least 70, 75, 12 month, right?
Yep.
Where are you at now?
So we mostly do IUL.
Yep.
So with like the IUL only carriers, these are like your NLGs, F&Gs, things like that. We're over 90.
90.
With some of those past carriers, I've brought them up like 10, 12 points. So I'm like mid 70s, 6 months over 85.
Yeah.
And climbing, right? Like every month it goes up. So definitely we've cleaned up a bunch of stuff, figured out a few systems, automations, like to-dos, that we feel really, really good about it.
Yeah.
Got rid of all the bad language.
Right.
To the point now, like I've had times where like I think we've done everything we're supposed to do. We get to the end of the call and they're like, now we're just seeing if I get approved. It's like, whoa.
Right.
Like I already have, like all I have to do is click the button and like we're going to stop and we're going to hash this out like right now.
Correct.
And like I've lost sales after I've collected banking and got signatures because like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, but you're better off losing them at that moment than after they get issued. Because, hey, if you lose them at the appointment, there's no persistency on your appointment.
Yeah.
You move on to the next one.
Well, and if you're like, well, I need this, like no one's going to say this out loud, but there's that little creepy thought that's like, well, I'd rather have an interest-free loan today and pay my bills, and then I'll deal with it tomorrow. It's like, don't do that.
No.
And if that's you, like that's just you probably have a work problem. Like,
Correct.
Let's dial some more leads. Let's get some more leads. Let's figure that out. So like, you don't need any one sale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should mentally be in that position of, and if you're not there in the beginning, because I mean, I don't think you've done a lot of recruiting. I don't think a lot of agents come to us, just wealthy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got so much money, Josh. I was thinking I'd get into life insurance because I'm bored. I've not heard, you ever heard that from a recruit? I've never heard that.
No,
in 15 years, I've not heard that,
No one dreams of being a life insurance agent.
But I get it. You come here and a lot of times you're in a situation financially that you're trying to improve.
Yeah.
Maybe you're in a really bad situation and it's easy to go there mentally. Well, yeah, let me just get this approved. It will cancel, and then I'll pay it back.
It's a learned skill to be able to treat every client the same.
Yes.
Like this is the process. Like I lost a $92K deal this year.
Okay.
Like that's the target premium.
Yeah.
Huge policy, right? Mm-hmm. And at the end it went sideways and we didn't get it. And I didn't lose sleep over it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get too excited about it. And the folks on my team, they're like, dude, like how are you able to talk to like these big clients? You talk to them the same as everybody else. And it's like, that's just a learned skill to be able to like, when it's going super good, like it's just another lead, it's another person, treat them all the same. Like, and it does. It takes some time, I think, for most people to get there. Mm-hmm. But once you get there, then you can just be a little bit more rational and logical about what needs to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And dude, it's a powerful position to be in when you can just walk away from the sale, whether, your bank account's telling you not to or whatever, but it's also, I feel like it's attractive to the client almost. If the client knows I don't need this sale. Yeah. Then that whole, he's just trying to sell me, that's out the window. Like if I'm really here to help you, Josh, and financially you can't do this, I'd rather just walk away.
Well, then you can say what needs to be said.
Absolutely.
Which sometimes, like you I don't know, like I like to keep it professional, of course, but like sometimes you're talking to somebody who like says some crazy out of pocket stuff, and like you just need to like meet them on their level and say some stuff. You know what I mean? And whatever. But like if you are so afraid, like if I don't make this sale, like then you're just going to get timid and shy about it.
Then you say things you shouldn't. Then you make promises you can't deliver.
Skirt around the details.
Right.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. How much does this cost? Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, like,
we can adjust later.
Yeah. Like, dude, I'm better off going, hey, it's going to be $150 a month. Can you do that? Oh, I can't. Well, then let's back it down.
Why do I got to give you your bank account to pay for it?
Absolutely.
You know?
You need a bank account. Oh, we'll talk about that later. No, let's get it out of the way in the beginning. Yes, I'm definitely going to need your bank account information.
Yep.
Believe it or not, if you buy a policy, the insurance company wants their premium too, and they want to take it out of your account once a month. That's how it works.
Yeah.
You know, but you also, I think a lot of it is the uncomfortable feeling. Like, it's uncomfortable to say that, especially for the first time. Yeah. Once you've said it 100 times, it's nothing. But the first time, like, I remember the first time just pulling the application out. Believe it or not, we had paper apps back then, Josh.
Oh,
but you lived that life, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the first time I did it without asking the client's permission, I thought, like, oh my God, you know what they did? They just gave me their information. Yeah. We create these issues in our own head sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like the whole, well, if I tell them that, they're buying a policy today, they're not going to want to do it. Well, then you screwed something up.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember being in the home and like, hey, we need your driver's license now. And they're like looking at you and you're like, can you go get it?
Yeah. Like,
and they're like
right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's what they're looking for, right? They're looking for somebody like, especially in the IUL space.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know what I need, they just, like, are you telling me the truth? Are you doing the best for me? Like, do you know what you're talking about? Like that, like at the end of the day, that's what it is. And if you can check the boxes, like most people are going to be good with that. They just want somebody to, like, I can't tell you how many times people, especially in the IUL space, are like, no one's taken the time to actually explain this stuff to me. And it's like, what is the bar actually is so low out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, some guy just signed me up for this policy. I don't know what it is, where it is. I've never seen an illustration. I don't know what you're talking about. What's accumulated value versus surrender value.
95% of the time, dude. I remember, I didn't write a ton of annuities, but the few I wrote were always people. I'd ask them, is it a variable? No. I'm like, really? You can't lose? No. We pull it out. I'm like, dude, you lost $40,000 in this last year.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
I had a lady one time, she was convinced, she's like, this is whole life.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Like, this is whole life. And I was like, that's not a whole life.
No.
She goes and grabs her policy. She's been paying 10 years for a $100,000 accidental plan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're sick now. Yep. You're older. Like, this is not good.
Yep. One of my best clients ever, this was a final expense client up in Hartford, this lady Gail. I get out to her house. She's one of those people that buys everything that they show on TV, she'll buy. She had the Home Shopping Network on when I got there, right? Her house is just cluttered with just stuff that she don't need. She did the same thing for life insurance policies. The problem, especially back then, 90% of the stuff you got through the mail was accidental.
Yeah.
Or it was a term that went up every year and pretended or not pretended, but made it seem like it was whole life based on the marketing and everything around it, right?
Yeah.
So she's telling me how much she's paying and what she has, and I'm like, I don't think you have real insurance. And she's like, I do. I'm like, go get it. Well, I don't. I'm like, Gail, you buy all this stuff on TV. You have all these things. Now it's like an organized chaos. I'm like,
all the
I know you know where they are.
Yeah.
I'll sit here and wait. I'll pull up some numbers. You go get them. Dude, 5 minutes later, she comes out with a stack. And I'm going through it. That one ended 2 years ago. This is accidental. This one's accidental too. This is just an application. You don't even have that. Come to find out, dude, she had like 5,000 of real insurance.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
And I'm like, and all these, like, I'm like, do you do a lot of things that, would lead to you getting killed in an accident? Like, no, not at all. I don't leave my house. I'm like, well, you probably don't need the accidental death. Let's get you real insurance today.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of what's out there. And to your point, they don't explain. Most agents don't. They just sell a policy. They're gone.
Here it is.
So speaking to that, you went from 59% to over 90.
Mm-hmm.
In a few minutes, give us some of the drastic changes, little changes. Like, how did that happen? What have you done differently now to get there and now maintain that?
All right, cool. So like we here's the metrics the carriers look at, right? They look at premium applied ratio, right?
Yep.
Like how many did you sell and they got their first premium, 4, 6 month, and then 12 month. Like that's the big ones. And so the first thing is like what you do on the phone, that's going to affect the premium applied ratio. So if you're saying things like, let's just see if we can get approved or we can make adjustments later. Like, even though, yes, that is technically true, like just don't go there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Make sure it's a solid sale. you know, we all say, oh, we say, like, I'm a big believer. You can say all kinds of things to like really make the client feel good on the phone. Hey, here's my cell phone number. Like, they're not going to remember it 5 minutes later.
Correct.
So the second thing is, you know, we created some automations in a CRM system. You can do this manually, whatever. But as soon as we get off the phone, we go on our CRM, tap a button, punch in some stuff. It sends them literally every detail of what we talked about. Carrier information, carrier ratings, product information, illustrations if necessary, when it's coming out, all the stuff, black and white, right? And because to your point, now in virtual, right, you call somebody, hey, I got a policy. Where's it at? In maybe my email that I never check and is, you know, spam and I can't even log in.
Yep.
So we text, email to make sure they have it all. And then, so that's going to take care of the premium applied ratio stuff. That's going to take care of like that short term. And then the second thing is, and this is going to like, everyone's going to feel this one because most insurance agent salespeople, we suck at follow up. You know what I mean? We don't follow up. We just burn it, get on the next one.
Yeah.
So if you want to increase your persistency, increase the amount of people that convert, that tell you, I want to think about it. Right? Actually stick with those people and just going, I got the next lead.
Right.
Like we kind of treat people not great because we have leads.
Right.
Like, you know, sometimes
we become lead junkies.
Yeah. When they go, hey, my wife's not around, like I want to think about it. We're like, oh, you need to do this today. Like, really? Like if you talk to me that way, I'm like,
right.
Dude, my wife will punch me out if I make certain decisions.
Right.
The first time I learned how to do drywall is because she put me through the wall. Jokingly, but it did happen. Love you, babe.
Yeah.
All right, so
you should have brought her with you.
I did, yeah, for sure. So, so converting the think about it. So, like, how do you follow up with that person? We've created sequences to bring them back, educate them, bring them back.
Yeah.
Like they go through so much to think about it. You convert them, they're sticking. Okay. Then it's like after the sale, we hit them up 2 weeks later. Did you get your policy? Look out for it in the mail. Hey, 30 days is due. Like the free look period. Like, hey, got any questions? I'd rather have them now than, you know, you cancel on me.
Right.
We check again. And so we're hitting them up. We're sending them postcards, thank you cards, doing all these things. The one thing we said we wanted to solve is, you know, our agent, no one's going to buy a policy from our agents that use our system and ever say, my agent doesn't reach out to me. And lo and behold, when they have problems, they actually reach out.
Right.
Hey, man, like, I appreciate the text. You know, something happened with my banking. And so we created an automation. It's called mispayment, okay? I'm terrible at this. Do you ever remember somebody, they go into pre-cancel? If you even check your reports, you're going, I don't want to call them.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And you're reluctant.
Yep.
Okay, so now in our CRM, they just have to hit a button, it moves them to a mispayment, and it texts them. Hey, Mike, don't know if you know your XYZ policy went to a pre-cancel state. Were you aware? Over half the time, I had no idea. And now it's on your calendar. You call them, you fix it. You do 4 of those a month, dude, your persistency is going to sky high. Right. And if most agents, if you're like a decent producing agent, you know, 200K, 400K a year agent, you go and increase your retention 10 points, dude, that's like 40, 50 grand a year.
Right.
Just did what you keep. It's a big deal. Yeah. So we just created systems and automations and processes for every step of the way. And what happens is like more people keep the policy, more people pay their policy, less people fall off, and more people keep it through those stages to where some of those old carriers that I did have persistency issue with, now we're over an 85% 6-month, you know, well over 70, 12-month. I've had to claw my way back on those. And then some of the new carriers with IULs are over 90. So, you know, you can do it. You have to get organized. And for me, I don't know about you, when it comes to like dieting, I am not one of these people that can go like, oh, I'll just eat a little bit of sugar and I'm okay. Like, I got to get the cookies out of the house.
Right.
I will eat all of the cookies.
Yep.
So the same thing is like, I can't just be like, oh, I'm going to be more organized and try harder. It's like, I have to create things that make me do it every single time. And if that's you, like, you need to find a system, write something down of this is how I'm going to do it every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's awesome, dude. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, going from 59 to, you know, above 90.
The carriers are happier.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. And IULs do make a big difference. Like, it's not you still have to do these other things, but yeah, Sean said this on a call recently with the staff here. He said, we're going to, 2030 rolls around. We're going to look back and go, I can't believe we used to sell final expense and mortgage.
Well, like here's one thing. It's harder to replace an IUL. Yeah. So like if you have a final expense policy, you go, hey, I got XYZ policy, and we said all kinds of crazy things. Oh, do you have it with the A carrier or the B carrier?
Yeah.
And like you can kind of like, and you can get them in a better price thing, move stuff around, like there's a lot of levers you can pull to position yourself in a way where you can put the client in a better spot. IULs are very difficult. Yeah. So I go, hey, they're like, I already got an IUL. What do you say? Well, I got a better price one.
Right.
Well, my agent structured it for me. He designed it for me.
Correct.
Like I know why. So about the only thing that you can say is it designed right?
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, I don't care. Get out of my face. Like,
right.
Okay. And like you don't have a lot of levers to pull just on face value. Just that alone, like you're gonna have better persistency.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, dude. And it's better for the client. I mean, we made our money on final expense and mortgage, but the IULs weren't as powerful as they are now back then. We didn't have many simplified issues to IULs. Everything was fully fully underwritten. not a non, like even some people, I wrote this one, but non-med fully underwritten is different than the fully deal. Oh God, you're talking months.
Yeah, so I mean, like living benefits. I'm 40 years old, got a wife and kids. Like I'm pretty healthy. Try to take care of myself. I'm more concerned that something's going to happen to me and I can't go to work tomorrow and I'm still here than I am not coming home. Just me personally.
Yeah.
Right. So like just that alone, I'm like, the other day I was like, babe, how much living benefits we got? Like we need to buff that up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to wrap with a few objections. So I say this every week. I'm not excited about the idea of overcoming objections.
Agreed.
I like to remove the objections.
Yep.
But if you're brand new, I'm also not delusional.
Yeah.
When you're a brand new agent, you're going to run into some situations where you're going to have to overcome the objection because you haven't learned how to remove it yet, right?
Yep.
So I got 3 I'm going to throw at you, and you let me know, number one, how to handle it, but then also how do you make sure you don't even get there, right?
Yep.
So you get I don't want to rush this decision. That's pretty much a think about it, right? Like, hey, we're getting ready to make the whoa, easy. I don't do that today. I got to talk this over. I got to whatever.
Yeah. All right. So, well, so sometimes people say that on the top of the call, bottom of the call, it's going to be a little bit different, but hey, I don't want to rush in anything today. Hey, listen, like the first thing is we just have to make sure that you understand what we're actually doing here. We have to design a plan that's right for you. So like we're getting ahead of ourselves and ultimately, you do have to get approved. It does take a little bit of time. So like we have to go through a bunch of things before we can even get there. So let's just take step 1 first. How about that?
There you go. We can't even rush it.
Right. And so to your point, if you're running appointments, if you're doing, one call closes, whatever, if you find out you're looking for, is there a spouse? You know what I mean? Are they driving? Some people are like, oh, pull over. That might work for on a long haul trucker maybe. But like if I'm finding those things out, what I do and what I tell our agents to do that has worked well is, I hold their client inventory ransom, right? Because I used to go, hey, let's reschedule. Now they're fighting with me. They're like, I'm in the car. I'm like, bro, you're driving in traffic.
Right.
I had a lady goes, well, she's driving. I can hear craziness. She's like, if you can't do it now, I'll just go somewhere else. I was like, dude, if you care so little about your life, you know what I mean? So don't argue with people. I'm like, hey, Mike, listen, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through, ask you a few questions, kind of figure out your health, figure out your finances. Then that's going to give me some time to put some things in place. I'm going to do some homework for you. Let's go ahead and reschedule. When do you get home from the door? When are you going to be at home? Like, when's Miss is going to be around? And that kind of thing. And so now we're trading, right? You're going to give me some time, and I'm going to do some work for you.
Yeah.
And so if you miss that appointment, I'm like, hey, Mike, I did a bunch of research for you. Did you want to see what I came up with? Oh, yeah. Let's reschedule. Right. So I hold it for ransom. That way we don't have to deal with that in the first place.
Yeah. I love that. It reminds me of when we were in home, trying to tie down some people. Well, I'm just so busy. Just call me back. Call me back.
I never know where I'm going to be.
Just call. I go, okay, well, what's a good time to call you back? Well, call me back tomorrow around 5. Well, hey, I'm going to be out there anyways. I'll just stop by.
Yeah.
Now they're stuck. It's like, oh, shit, they told me. Yeah. Now we got an appointment. You do the same thing with your telesale. Oh, you may call you back? Okay, I'll just set you up for an appointment at that point.
Yep.
We hear this a lot. Work insurance, right? Yeah, I mean, that's great, but I'm covered through work.
Yeah. Well, so I'll tell you what I said. In IULs, it's really just not a thing.
Yeah.
But hey, that is awesome. Congratulations on getting work insurance, right? Most people, they just don't even think about it, but work insurance is like a rental car. It's super fun to drive until you got to give it back. My grandmother worked at GM, had amazing work insurance until she didn't. They told her it was going to last her to retirement, so that's what she kept. Budget cuts. You remember what happened to GM? She retired without insurance and she was uninsurable. So you're probably like most people that we're here talking today because you wanted something that you own privately, right?
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then last one, I need to wait till I have more money. I need to wait till, they'll tell you all kinds of stories, right? I'm getting a bonus in 2 months, or I'm getting a raise, and around that time I'll have more money. Or if you're doing mortgage, we just moved in. I don't really know my finances. In a few months I'll be in a better financial position.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right. But when you filled out, and we've been talking here, you said you want to make sure that if something happened to you that, Michelle's going to be taken care of, or at least not be without. You mentioned to me you didn't have any insurance. So wouldn't it make more sense to see if we can put a little something, so God forbid something happened this week, you know what I mean? Knock on wood. I'm not putting that on you, that she has something versus nothing. And then look, I'm going to be your agent for life. At the end of the year, you're going to get a postcard, text, and an email from me. At that point, you're going to be doing better. If you want to, crank the policy up, get a second one, we'll do that for you. All right. So,
it's like you don't want to argue with them.
No,
you almost agree with them.
You're not going to win any arguments ever.
Like, I agree, dude, that's awesome. You're going to make some more money in a few months. So cool. We'll set this up right now at $100K instead of the whole $250.
Yeah.
And I'll come back and we can get another policy. But, that makes perfect sense. It's like, it's almost like reverse. Like, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm not.
Dude, I love those people on IULs because they're like, you're like, oh, I can maybe do X amount today, but in a few months, I'm like, hey, cool. IULs are super flexible. We're going to set you up on this premium today, and then here's how you can overfund it. And then we tell, like, we chose this IUL and this design specifically so it's flexible for you. And they're like, oh, yeah, this is mine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great stuff. I really appreciate you coming up, doing this, taking time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah.
This has been awesome. So, guys, like this, share this, subscribe if you haven't already. Every week we're right here on The Next Level. There's stuff you guys want us to ask people to come in. Drop some questions in the comments. But thanks again, Josh. I look forward to you hitting Hall of Fame and putting you on the spot here as well.
Absolutely. And if you come to the corporate headquarters and you get to hang out with Mike, you'll sell more and you'll grow a bigger beard.
Yes, absolutely. In that order.
That order.
Well, thanks again. Guys, thanks for checking us out. You know where to find us every week right here on The Next Level. We'll see you next week.